Sorry, I need to take care of this. It all started 5 years ago. A Jaeger Corps someone had hired took this place over out of nowhere. By the way, how much do you remember of that day, Reese? Just so I know. I just remember the group of men in black forcing their way through the gate and charging in here. They tied everyone up, took the matron up to the second floor, and then... Next thing you knew, you were in a bed in the hospital in town, right? After which you found out that Rafina and I had come to rescue you. And that she had died in the process. That about right? Mm-hmm. Just what happened, Kevin. All I've heard is that it was the work of someone who opposed the church. But I haven't had the chance to meet you since then, much less ask you about it. I tried asking Instructor Selnit, but she wouldn't say a word. That doesn't surprise me. The Grossritter's commander can't admit this orphanage was being used as a smokescreen for an artifact that needed sealing away. It what? Here we go. Oh, secret passage. Secret passage. Wait, if there was an artifact here, you don't mean... Yup. Below here is a primal ground used to seal artifacts away, just like the one under Grand Cell Cathedral. Longest spiral staircase you have ever seen. Just endless stairs. I'm sure you remember the day it all happened. Rafina and I were due to come back here for the first time in a while. We were both coming from different places. We'd been sent, so we wanted to meet up in town and come the rest of the way here together. But then her train was delayed, leaving me in town to wait for her alone. That was when I got word of what happened. All I could think was that you and the other kids were in danger, and so I decided to try and take out the Jaegers here alone. They weren't all that experienced, so fighting them wasn't even hard for a squire like me. Before long, I was able to disable them all and free the matron and other kids. Or so I thought. You were nowhere to be seen. I asked the other kids where you were. They told me one of the Jaegers had taken you somewhere else and that you were unconscious. I looked frantically all over trying to find you before eventually stumbling across this place. As for how, you remember how you didn't have your ribbon in your hair when you woke up, Reese? I do. What does that have to do with anything? I found that ribbon in front of the secret passage we've just gone through. And there were new footprints near it, too, made it easier to find the entrance. Anyway, after getting in here, I made my way down the staircase in pursuit of the Jaeger that had taken you in. Oh, you've survived the endless stairs. Good for you guys. Hey, Reese. Do you remember what I was like back when we first met? Yeah, I was still young at the time, but it's as fresh as it were only yesterday. You look like you've been swallowed by blackness, like there wasn't a single thread of hope bound to you. It was scary. I kept wondering what must have happened to you, what you must have seen to make you end up that way. Haha, what must have happened to me, huh? Rafina seemed like she knew. Before I met you, I killed my mom. You just said that. You just said that so bluntly. Maybe killed isn't the right expression. It's not like I directly did it. I still let her die, though. I've still got a responsibility for what I did. Or what happened, rather. Growing up, it was basically me and my mom for the most part. My father showed his face from time to time, but not much. From what I understand, he had another family elsewhere. But even without him, she did her best to look after me on her own. I loved her dearly. Kids in the neighborhood used to make fun of me for how I talked, which I got from her, but I just beat them up most of the time. She was always kind, she loved cooking, and yeah, I thought the world of her. When I was 7, my father, who had all the money in the world, chose to abandon her. At the best of times, she was always a frail person. After that, she grew more and more despondent. Her health suffered. I tried everything a kid could do to cheer her up, but nothing I did worked. And during one winter's day, when she must have finally had enough, she came over while I was sleeping and tried to strangle me. Excuse me? I'm so sorry, Kevin. I failed as your mother. But I'm so tired. I'm so tired. At least this way, the two of us can... I guess she figured that if we were both going to suffer, we might as well take the easy way out as a family. But I wouldn't let her take me with her. Before I knew what I was doing, I pushed her aside and ran barefoot out into the snow. I wandered around for a while after that, couldn't understand what had happened or what she had been trying to do. Eventually, I could feel myself getting hungry. I thought that maybe she'd been able to clear her head. I made my way back home, nervous as could be, and... Man, that's dark. It's actually dark. Sorry for making you listen to all this. Still, I think that's probably when it happened. When my stigma was carved inside me. What? Where are we? Who would have thought a place like this existed under an orphanage? This was where I finally caught up to the Jaeger who had you with him. He probably didn't think anyone was going to come after him. The second he saw me, he panicked, and putting his gun down, he ran over the pedestal right in front of us. Ran over to the pedestal, I think that said. Oh, on it was the artifact that required sealing away I mentioned earlier, the Spear of Loa. What's the Spear of Loa? It's Kevin's S-Craft. Come on, Reese. Like, have you played the game? A malignant spear that transforms the body of its wielder into that of the monster. It's hard to believe something like that could be a gift from the goddess, right? In any case, the corner Jaeger grabbed it and used it. Oh, hey. I didn't stand a chance. Much as I tried, I wasn't any match for the inhuman monster before me. He knocked me to the ground and then went to raise the spear against the still unconscious you. That's all it took. Man, part of me wishes that if Trails in the Sky, like, was fully voiced in, like, cutscenes, and Keith Silverstein was doing Kevin, he would do great as, like, Kevin's, like, form when he's, like, possessed by the stigma. My stigma drew all of the spear's power from it into itself, and blasted it, magnified countless times over, into the Jaeger's body. The result wasn't even a battle. Our precious home became a slaughterhouse. By the end, he wasn't even recognizable, just thousands of lumps of flesh strewn all over the floor. After defeating him, my stigma's power was still coursing through my body. I never experienced anything like that before. I completely lost control of myself. At this point, Rafina arrived, and she seemed to understand exactly what had happened. Using her bowgun and Templar sword, she was able to separate me from you and prevent me from doing you any harm. And then... Yeah, and then, come on, controller. My controller, like, disconnects at weird times. And then they all died. Just kidding. Obviously. These were witnessing their future. When I returned to my senses, I was in her arms, dumbfounded. Her body was full of holes all over, but she hugged me as tightly as she could. That's when she drew her last breath. No. There it is, the truth you wanted. It wasn't that I couldn't save Rafina. I was the one who killed her, with my own hands right in front of you. But you didn't. I didn't want to, maybe not, but that's just an excuse. If I had been able to control my stigma's power instead of letting it consume me and fill me with bloodlust, it wouldn't have happened. I If I wasn't so weak, she'd still be alive today. That's not all either. Looking at her stand before me at that moment, she reminded me of my mother. She reminded me of Mom when she came to strangle me. Suddenly, this feeling of betrayal welled up inside me, this desire for revenge, so I filled her full of spears. I loved them both. I wanted to protect them both. And what did I do? I killed both of them. Me. Why? Why did you? Why did I what? Why didn't you tell me this before? 5 years apart and this is the first time you're telling me this? Sorry, I know I should have done it earlier. But now I have, and I'm ready for the consequences. So go on, if you want to avenge her, do it. If anything, it'd make me happy if you did. You're so stupid. What are you? You think I want to avenge her? That's not why I'm angry at all. Why have you shouldered the burden that great all this time on your own? We're family, Kevin. Why didn't you ever talk to me? Why didn't you ever let me hug you? Why didn't you let me do anything to help you? Reese. I finally understand. I always thought you were hunting down heretics as some kind of atonement for letting Rufina die. But that's not it at all, is it? Come on, Reese. I finally understand. You don't want to atone for anything. You don't want to get rid of your sense of guilt at all. You. That's right, he wants to be punished for what he did. Oh, who could have predicted? Oh, the Lord of Phantasma. Why now of all times? You have my congratulations on making it this far. Beyond here lies the 7th plane. The place of my birth and the foundation of all planes hereafter. Thought so, and judging by how we have to go through here to get there, I was right, wasn't I? Right about what? Allow me to ask you again. So, Kevin Graham, do you really want to see the face underneath this mask? Damn right I do. It's time to take that creepy mask thing and show us who you really are. Rufina Argent? Haha, with pleasure. Oh, is it really Rufina? Oh, yeah, it is. Rufina? I've missed you dearly, Reese. And as for you, Kevin, I'm impressed you were able to work out my real identity. It wasn't hard. I had a feeling from the start. The answer was right in front of my face the whole time, and your every taunt should have made that much more sure. The only reason I couldn't be until now was because I didn't want to accept the truth. Quite, you were always a weakling. You always were a weakling. You can imagine how surprised I was when you were able to defeat my strongest knight. Talking about the Blade Lord? What connection does he even have to you anyway? I met him through my work, about 6 years ago. We were enemies at the time. We managed to reach a compromise of sorts, and he felt he owed me a debt for as much. Alright, so you ended up summoning him in order to have him repay it? It's a crafty move, but that's so out of character for you. Flattery won't get you anywhere with me. Still, now that you made it this far, I assume you understand what I'm trying to do. Yeah, and I'm ready. Take me away. Wait, what are you two talking about? I would have thought you worked out the answer to that already, Reese. You recall what I said before? Kevin wants to be punished. And you. I was born here in order to give him the punishment he strives for with his every breath. It was to that end I recreated Phantasma in its current form and welcomed all of you here. All of this was a result of Kevin's desires. He wanted this to happen. You're lying. Sorry, she isn't. I couldn't tell you why it actually happened. What she says is true. No. The 7th plane is likely somewhere made for the express purpose of punishing me over and over. A fitting hell for someone who let his own mother die and killed Rufina to suffer and rot. And once I drop down there, this'll all be over. Wait a second, why should you have to do that? You can't be serious, Kevin. Reese. What do you think you're doing, Reese? That's not a very nice thing to do to your sister. Shut up. You're not my sister. My sister would never do something like this. Never. Reese. You promised me, Kevin. You promised me you'd never do anything that would make Rufina sad. So what do you think you're doing? How can you believe sacrificing yourself for everyone would make her happy? Reese, stop. Who are you to say it wouldn't? I might not be the real Rufina, but I am a very close copy of her. If Kevin wants to be punished, why wouldn't I want to give him his wish? Because that's not how Rufina was at all. She'd never indulge something like that, not in 1,000 years. Think back to when you first met us, Kevin. You'd given up on the world like you just wanted to disappear, but did she let you do that? No. She forced chocolate down your throat and dragged you right back into the real world, even when you didn't want to, whether you liked it or not. She. Ah, way to bring this memory back. Hi. Well, this is a surprise. You've grown a lot more than I was expecting, if you're able to talk back to me. Stop talking to me as if you're my sister. You're not, and I won't stand for you defiling her any further. Well, if that's how you want to do things, perhaps I should invite you in Kevin's place. Me? No! The rest of you could stand by and watch. Duh. It's just like the one that Devil used. Reese, stop this, Rufina. She's got nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but she has. Consider this another part of your punishment. After all, if she suffers for all eternity in your place, that's gonna make your suffering all the more potent, isn't it? Please, go ahead and do your worst. Oh, Reese, drop me wherever you like, I'll live. I'm never gonna let Kevin be alone again. I'll come back to him. Fighting words, my sweet sister. We shall see whether you can make good on them. Well, I guess I'm not using Reese for a little bit. Kevin? This is literally the sequence in Grandia where Justin and Fina are falling and Fina gets her Icarian wings. Quite literally. Except without the Icarian wing part. The falling part really reminded me of it. Hey, Reese, wake up! Kevin? Oh, how lovely. We're together once again. You okay? Feeling any pain? I mean, not lovely that we're in, like, some kind of dark void, but, you know. Classic OTP. No, I'm okay, I think. But why are you? I fell through the crack alone. So why are you? You big dummy. That sound effect. Me? What were you thinking about all that taunting? Go ahead and do your worst. Drop me wherever you like, I'll live. And just how do you know you'll live? Oh, right, you don't. What? You're a squire, aren't you? A rookie like you with no experience or proper judgment has no business making calls that put her safety at risk. If you can't promise to never, if you can't promise to never do that again, then you and I both know you're not cut out to be part of the Grossritter. That's probably what I should be saying anyway, but it'd be real rich coming from me, huh? So I'll let you off with that little bop there, huh? Look around us. This is it, the 7th plane. Wow. Gehenna. Gehenna. Yep, it's like the Testament's brought to life. I'm the one responsible for bringing it all. Oh, after all, if there's one place that's possible, it's Phantasma. I don't know how Rufina came back, but she did, with both memories and personality intact. And now I have the good fortune of being punished by one of the very people I wronged. I really couldn't think of a more fitting punishment for a bastard like me. Everything she said was dead on. More than anything, I wanted to be punished. I figured that by accepting that punishment, all of this would be done and everyone else could go back to their lives. I thought I could just be like her, sacrificing my own life so everyone could be saved. But that wouldn't make me like her at all, would it? No, she might have given up her life to save ours. That wasn't because she was happy to throw her life away to protect someone else's. It was because she literally saw no other option. With me unconscious, she didn't even have the choice to retreat. There was no way out of the situation without one of the three of us losing our lives. That's the only reason she chose to do what she did. Yeah, she was never the kind of person who would praise self-sacrifice as some kind of virtue. She'd only ever accept it as an option if all the others had been exhausted, and it was truly the only way. Right, but this time, that's not the case. You're here, I'm here, all of our friends are here. If we put our heads together, I'm sure we could have another way out of here. One where no one would have to die. You must have realized that, and yet you tried to take the easy way out, didn't you? I hate to say it, but yeah, I did. That's a pretty shameful thing for a Dominion to be doing, huh? See, I've got no right to be criticizing you. I'm even less fit to be a knight than you. Still, standing around lamenting my own failings isn't going to get us anywhere. So if you're up for walking, let's get ourselves out of here. Come again? What you're looking for is so... What are you looking so surprised for? You didn't even think I was going to stay here and accept being punished for all eternity, did you? Well, either that or stay here and wait for Rafina to show up again. Listen here, Reese. I'm not going to deny there's a part of me, a big part, that wants to be punished for what I did. Or that there's a part of me that was overjoyed to see Rafina again, however it came to me. But I'm not alone down here. You're here with me, and believe me, that changes everything. As long as you're here, I'm not staying in this hellhole a second longer than I have to. We're getting out of here, you and me, no matter what it takes. Right.